The recording starts now. Welcome everyone. It's 12th of January 2016. I'm so happy that we got to meet after day 3, right? Without any gaps. Because very soon we're going to have a long gap, especially from Sunday. We're going to start the 120 days journey of the Black Ray initiation. So I don't know when we will have our next class, possibly class number 6 or 7. There would be a long gap. And as I told in the previous class, you can always supplement it with listening to the calls, taking the journeys if you feel like, the alchemical and the wealth journeys. And if you're not got it for any of that, then just spend time with yourself, 10 minutes in silence, as we shared yesterday. Yesterday's transmission was very, very powerful. After the transmission, I kept meditating and meditating and meditating for a long, long time. And today as well, I felt in my consciousness like a pure, like a pure spirit. This consciousness didn't come to me for a long, long time, for more than 10 years, I would say. This consciousness was there when I was like 16 or 17 years of this physical body. But, as you grow, things are there to tempt you, to distract you, to, play with you, if you would say. So it was after a very, very, very long time that I felt so pure after yesterday's transmission. Okay, so before we go, we have some questions from Vaishali. And if you're having questions, please send it to me at Facebook, or you can just send it here at chat, or just let me know that you would like to be unmuted. So you'll be unmuted in that sense. So Vaishali has sent some very interesting questions. So before we start with the class officially, let's see. Okay. Vaishali writes, she actually sent it on 5th of January. Just wanted to ask if earthquakes or other natural calamities can affect us energetically and or physically prior to that event. Yes, of course. Japanese fish, I think they call it the goldfish, or I don't know, maybe it's the goldfish, Japanese, don't know. There's a typical kind of fish in the Japanese culture. It is known to go a bit strange when Japan is going to experience earthquakes, because of its nature, of how it is, uh, you know, built. And Japan is kind of prone to all these things. So yes, animals do, fish, monkeys, dogs, they're aware about all these things. I remember one very heart-touching story. It's about a cousin of mine and his wife. They were swimming in a particular lake out in the village, I think 3 dogs. And then what happened is their dogs almost called them. They were constantly barking at them as if to ask them to come back to, the car while the couple was enjoying the bath, in the lake. So romantic, so nice, but they were barking like anything. And within a few minutes, I would say, that area experienced a tremendous, what you call that, a wind rush, a rush of wind that was not so nice, but it was hardly for a few seconds. But these dogs could sense it. Some even say that dogs can also sense the spirits. You might have seen your dog barking at nothing sometimes. Mm. So yes, animals can sense that. And that includes humans as well, especially humans who work energetically. As many of you know, I prefer not to socialize a lot because my energy field has, the more advanced you become, your aura becomes brighter, bigger, the less shielding you're supposed to do in a way because your light is then supposed to go out. You act like a transformer, but your aura also becomes very delicate, including your hair, your skin, your nervous system. It becomes pretty much delicate. So a lot of people who spend a lot of time into spiritual activities, they prefer not to go out. I'm not saying that there would come a point that you will need to stop socializing, but yes, the spirit will guide you how to go with the best. Okay. So as our lights expand, we tend to become sensitive. Just to share, Let's go with my own story because I don't think others might like it. Um, Usually, when I'm waking up in the morning, and if my mother is at a nearby room and she's reading newspaper and the news is not so good, in the morning time, usually I don't get dreams, but if something like that happens, usually I will get very, very bad dreams, nasty dreams, sometimes even to the point of exactly what she was reading. I'm pretty much transparent. It's like I experienced divine oneness with her, a lot of it. Past life karma, maybe. So, although I'm not reading it, but I sense it. A lot of people, uh, Venkatesh, I would like you to write this concept to discuss in the Black Ray class as well. So, when we advance spiritually, not only our energy fields become more refined, but our soul's awareness of its oneness with all, not just other human souls, but also with other animal souls, mineral souls, everything around it. It almost feels like it's one. You know, great teachers have talked about it. Like, if you go with the story of one of the great saints, Shirdi Sai Baba, one disciple asked him, "Please have some meals," and he says that you fed me when you fed the dog. You fed me when you fed the dog. So for some it was like, hmm. So Baba transformed himself into a dog, and some others actually understood that Baba was experiencing oneness. And in that essence of oneness, he was able to sense. When you reach to that high level, you actually do not need to eat as well. We'll talk about that sometime later. Another story would be of my mother's guru, Sri Sriman Nandamai. Uh, she was in a um, she was in a place somewhere in the forest, not known to the people, and she was just in her own secret meditative place, and she was with a disciple, and they were traveling. And then this disciple had a lot of thirst. They didn't get anything to eat or drink, and he was feeling very thirsty. And he asked Ma, aren't you feeling thirsty? And she said, Oh no, I'm not feeling thirsty. I'm already fed, you know, by the sharbat. Sharbat is a what you can say, it's an exotic drink made of flower essences or fruit essences. You might understand. It's like a squash, but not exactly a squash. So she said that the sharbat the that my students offer me in front of a picture, I'm satiated from that. And she said the same thing to him. If you want to, then so it will be. And I'm not telling you the exact details, but I'm just giving you the gist of it. So forgive me if you're aware about the story and, there are discrepancies. So the moment she said that if you want to, that you also can be satiated, and the disciples' thirst was also satiated. So it's not just that we become too sensitive, it's also that we start feeling oneness. It's a very high level of what many call as soul realization. And that is where a lot of things get a bit tough. There is a particular team of angels known as mirror angels. For those of you doing spiritual teaching, I'm very much sure you're here. You are really into helping others, and no doubt you tend to form fear-based cords with others, consciously and unconsciously. So it's a good idea to call upon extra angels of mirror, or just mirror angels. These angels will help you to reflect back. If other person sends out to you a thought or an energy that says, I need to extract energy from your or life force from you because I think you're some kind of source to me, you will be drained. But when you call upon the mirror angels, what happens is these mirror angels reflect back at the divinity of the person sending out these thoughts back to them. And it kind of mirrors back to them and says, you're a master, you are a complete source as well. This is a very, very helpful tool. I've taken a particular class on this with our angel graduates, I think 2 years back maybe. but just sharing with you that if you think that you have reached that kind of stage where a lot of people are calling upon for your help multidimensionally, then it's a good idea to work with them. In fact, I'm working with these angels after a long time. Today I was feeling very drained. The moment I called upon them, the energy was very, very different. So going back to Vaishali's question, yes, as we expand, we tend to experience not just for the planet, but also for the solar system. A lot of people are sensitive to solar flares. You might have read this phenomena somewhere over the internet. A lot of people are sensitive with the moon as well, with the full moon. So yes, it's kind of, mm, it can affect us energetically and physically. Many of us are not even aware, but as we become more and more aware of ourselves, aware of our thoughts and processes, we start to become aware of the energies. We even can become aware of the future. We can even become aware of a person we meet, and we just know the so-called integrity of the person. It's just a game of knowing yourself more and more and more. Okay? She further writes, happening with me since last few months or maybe a year. Even happened this Sunday. I was suddenly emotionally down with swollen eyes as if I have not had slept for 10 days. Monday there was this earthquake in the east. Similar happened before Chennai flood, Nepal and other big small earthquakes. Could it be related to earth healing? Yes, as I said. I've been doing earth healing for the last so many years, though not so regularly, even before joining the Oasis group. Even now, I listen to the planetary MP3s often. If it's connected, what's to be done to prevent this? Yes, especially if you have been doing a lot of earth-based service, then you're already recognized to, your aura is already attuned to the frequency of Mother Earth. I remember 3 times, actually 2 times, just saying to my brother and saying, a blast is going to happen. And it really did. Now, sometimes when we're given the gift to foresee, it is not necessary that we have to do something about it. We can always pray. But if we're supposed to do something about it, we will be guided. Some things are just meant to flow. It's almost like you might be aware of your friends. You give them some advice, hey, let's say, don't go for that job or that relationship. It's not, maybe it won't be good for you. And the person still goes. So you are seeing that the person's going to a hole, but you cannot help it. They have to learn that way. And this is something that we as empaths, as light workers may not like to see, but that is how it is supposed to be. People learning at their own level. So if you want to desensitize yourself with these planetary events, you can always just say, I request my angels, to desensitize me from about these worldly conflicts or phenomena, and to help me to be at peace and in the frequency of love, and to understand that all the contrast is in divine order. You don't have to say these words. I'm just saying it so that you understand it. Okay? We are not the saviors, as I told you. We are really not working with that pattern. Also on Sunday, which was the first day of Grace Journey, the whole day I kept seeing angels 1144, 444, 144, and so on. Felt so blessed. Thought sharing with you too. Thank you so much. 44. Okay, so do we have any other questions before we go on? I hope, Vaishali, I answered that question for you. If not, then feel free to write me back. So any more questions do we have? Okay, let's talk about today's class might extend a bit longer, by the way. So let's talk about energy hygiene. I never thought that I'd be talking about this in such early part of the journey, but as you know, it's a very high frequency journey. Thank you, Vishali. So it's a very high frequency journey. And, as I said, when you have more energy flowing through, you have more responsibility. You are supposed to be more responsible for your energy field. Responsible not in a small r responsible, but capital R responsible. They say with more power comes more responsibility. So it is important that this is a journey. This is a very physical journey, by the way. It's not just energetic, but physical. So do take very good care of yourself. Take light diet, as I said, and do some energy bathways, cleansing baths. You might have been aware, I think most of you are aware about cleansing baths, but just let's record for the audience sake. So cleansing baths would be uh, washing yourself in a regular format, preferably something natural, that is natural, organic. If not organic, then at least natural. And then in this bucket of lukewarm water, putting 10 drops of lavender oil or 10 drops of tea tree oil or 10 drops of eucalyptus oil. Do not combine these three oils. One of these three oils only. These three oils contain cleansing pranas, cleansing color pranas. This is something that I got to know from Master Stephen Coe's article. Um, he's a master pranic healer in the US. So, and these are supposed to be essential oils. So it's not just any other oil, but essential oil. Okay, so 10 drops of that. And then you just, mix it well and just pour the water into your body. That's it. It's really good for cleansing. Another one is known as a saltwater bath. This again I learned in pranic healing. Um, you use the fine salt, okay? Fine salt. So first of all, you cleanse your body regularly as you cleanse it. The second is that you make a mixture, paste of fine salt. Some of us might be too sensitive to the salt. These days I do not use salt, by the way. I do other techniques, but just sharing here because it's very, very powerful. So fine salt, you make a paste of it with water, and then you dabble over the entire body. It's a good idea to put it above the skin of your hands, your palm, just to see if you're not reactive to it. It contains chlorine, NaCl. The Cl is known to be burning. Energetic property of chlorine is it tends to burn negative draws. So if you're not so sensitive about it, so you dabble over your entire body and then you remain there for like 2 or 3 minutes as it is, and then you take a bath with lukewarm water. This is a very, very effective treatment for not just, I won't say the word treatment, let's say very, very helpful supporter for people who are suffering from arthritis, chronic ailments, cancer or tumor, people who have very dirty energy bodies because of the disease. Okay, so this is a very, very cleansing. And after that, remember to do some energy building exercises, energy building breathing techniques, listen to meditation, uh, something that you find that builds up your energy. Okay, maybe just deep breathing out in nature. So this is about the water salt bath. There was also one bath that I learned in the pranic healing school about the coffee, but it's very, very deep rooting. I've never tried that. In fact, as I said, I don't use the salt anymore. I just sit in the violet flame for a long, long while. So another technique to cleanse yourself would be to sit in the violet flame, especially when you come from the work or going to the work, just 5 minutes before your work. That's very good, or just before sleeping. Another technique is calling upon the Archangel Michael and the Band of Mercy to vacuum, which is a really, really powerful technique. I do it like at least twice or thrice a day. So calling upon Archangel Michael and the Band of Mercy to just requesting him mentally, please cleanse the energy of my home, of my office, of myself. Request him to sever their fear-based cords. And you may want to visualize him, waving his sword of light, front, back, and sides, and do deep breaths. So it is very, very important that you maintain energy hygiene. Another thing about energy hygiene is shielding. We have an entire workshop with psychic self-defense. We took it like 3 years back. We will record it once and for all after 3 years or so, whenever I'll be able to finish the well series. So this is a long topic, okay, but your questions are welcome. So one of the ways to shield yourself, your aura acts like a shield. So you just visualize a royal purple light surrounding you. Let's say you're going to a mall where there are going to be many, many energies, or airport, So you just visualize royal purple light. Try this, especially before going inside a shopping mall. You'd be surprised that you are really laser focused as to what you want. Sometimes we really take things what we really don't need and then end up thinking, hey, why did I have it? Why did I buy it? Okay. So that's about it. And basically the more you understand yourself, the more you'll be in high vibration. The more you'll be in high vibration, the more your energy fields would be aligned, intact. But yes, as the more energy that we carry and the people sense that light, that love, that presence of comfort, we need to take good care of the energy hygiene. A lot of teachers out there say that you do not need to do energy cleansing work or something, but personally, in my experience, I found that it doesn't work that way. And you really have to cleanse, just like having a shower. It's just that those things that we were not taught, you can say. Okay. And of course, there are many, many, many tools. Some people use herbs, some people use crystals, and so much more. Smudging, with the sage, and you have those raisins, exotic raisins. We call in India lohan, you know, where there's also a typical word in the Christian tradition as well. It's like raisins burnt, and it's basically meant to cleanse the atmosphere of the temple, the churches, and the place. I personally don't use. I used to do a lot of incense stick work, using sandalwood, authentic sandalwood. But these days, I just like to work with Archangel Michael and just maintaining my personal energy field. Okay, let's go ahead with day 4. I hope you find this information helpful. Shall we go ahead? Okay. So allowing yourself to close your eyes. Bring awareness to your heart. Feeling that heart pulsing to your chest and through the cells of the body. Notice how, when you become aware of your body, the skin pores. You can sense the flow of blood, the flow of chi. Deep and fine breaths. Just take a minute to attune yourself back to this grid. Take a moment to feel the love and presence, so much of gratitude, so much of appreciation, so much of love in the field. All of us are contributing to the field, including those who are joining offline. Feel the presence of the beings of light, of the angelic team, your angelic team, my angelic team, every single person's angelic team. Full deep breaths, and send this pink light through the sole of the feet into the core of the Ma, grounding you powerfully, strongly. Please repeat together. It is safe for me to experience the earth. All of us, when we came to the planet, we didn't come with a manual. Our parents, our foster parents, however we were taken care of, they did their best. Most of us have this thing like, I wasn't parented completely because our parents were doing their best, and we came from very high dimensions at this point of time. We didn't come with a manual, nor our children. Scientific discovery says that the human DNA is progressing very, very rapidly. We have developed 7% or something like that. Some theories even suggest that we have 10 etheric strands of the DNA and the 2 are physical. We're all evolving. constantly. So visualizing this beautiful pink light emanating to the solar feet to the earth, and visualizing a beautiful lotus blossoming from beneath your feet. And covering your body, feel the radiations of this sacred pink energy of Ma Earth, embracing you just the way you are, regardless who you think you are, regardless of your body color, your body gender, your body belonging, your body's ancestral lineage, anything, whether you think yourself as good or bad, doesn't matter. Just feel its pure acceptance, nothing but pure acceptance. When we understand the meaning of pure acceptance, our lives will alchemize powerfully. Acceptance is really not about not evolving, but actually creating a roadway for transformation. As Louise says that for years you have criticized yourself, try doing self-appreciation. For years you have criticized yourself and it hasn't worked. Try doing the opposite, try doing the self-appreciation. Notice how it works in your life. Deep breaths. And as you feel the pure acceptance energy of the earth, you feel so safe, so grounded. It is safe for you to experience that all the polarities, all the contrast, all the war, all the fight, all the pain, all the sorrow, all the suffering. We consciously chose to experience pain, sorrow, and suffering so that we can be relatable to humanity. I salute every single being who is on this journey, for you are not ordinary people. You are very advanced souls, great teachers of light, and you know it. A full deep breath. Simply hear the sutra, message of gratitude from the field of grace, with eyes closed. In the warmth of our own hearts, we can find the strength to face storms. Life has to remain interesting and keep making waves. Let us allow our hearts to open to the warmth of love that seeks nothing in return, but that grants us the ability to become a wish fulfiller. The sacred heart filled with love, filled with the presence of all that is. Let us empty our cups of the old wine and replace it with the new wine. A taste of self helps us to realize that it is only one goal of our very purpose of sailing through life. Let us celebrate this journey. Let us celebrate this adventure. Hallelujah. Can I feel the joy and enthusiasm emanating from the sutra? Once again, we invoke the presence of the dolphin guides to bring forth the energy of joy and fun. In the warmth of our own hearts, we can find the strength to face storms. Life has to remain interesting and keep making waves. Let us allow our hearts to open to the warmth of love that seeks nothing in return, but that grants us the ability to become a wish fulfiller. The sacred heart filled with love, filled with the presence of all that is. Let us empty our cups of the old wine and replace it with the new wine. A taste of self helps us to realize that it is only one goal of our very purpose of sailing through life. Let us celebrate this journey. Let us celebrate this adventure. Hallelujah. Deep and fine breaths. We request expansion of your heart chakras. We request infusion of the golden indigo frequencies of the dolphin kingdom into our hearts, into the grid, into the heart of the grid. You are smiling. We request this joy to flow through our cells and nervous system. It's absolute unconditional joy and fun and enthusiasm. This is how you came in the first place when decided to feel the physical embodiment for the first time. This joy, this relishing of enjoying, of sensing earth, the material form. We request these dolphin beams to laserize and transform any and all traumas, any and all vows of poverty, vows of suffering that we made in any dimension and timeline. Feel this joy, this fun, this relaxed pace awareness. It is fun, it is enjoying it, is very much aware, like the juggler really enjoying his work, having a good audience, getting paid, at the same time enjoying his work. We send these beautiful gold indigo frequencies through our soul of the feet into the earth. Grounding these dolphin energies, these frequencies. We request the anchoring and activation of the violet laser devices of Saint Germain in our room to help us receive this transmission clearly and also transmute anything that comes out during this transmission. We thank you. So it is. And gradually you may open your eyes. We'll call upon the masters in the angelic realm. At least I said that if you don't believe in them, that's okay. But that is how I like to work with. And I request it at least until day 180 you carry on. But what my guides say that this is a very high frequency journey. Only those will come who are meant for it. So again, I'm just an instrument and not any kind of savior. Okay. So let us go ahead with the understanding of this passage. In the warmth of our own hearts, mark the capitalization, the I, the W, the O, again O, then H. A lot of times we think that when we find someone, we will find a solace in life, perhaps a perfect lover, a perfect child, a perfect parent, a perfect guru, or a perfect teacher. But what this passage is saying is of our own hearts, warmth of our own hearts, not outside, but within our own hearts, which means self-love, self-acceptance, self-appreciation, self-forgiveness, right? When we talk about the concept of love, people just think that, oh, it's about love, and love means going outside or spreading it outside to my family, to my children. But rarely it comes to them that, oh, it has to begin with myself. Self-love is not selfishness. Self-love is really celebrating the divine being that you are. Selfishness does not come from love, There's a strong difference between the two. Throughout this journey, I'll be recommending some teachers and books, but it doesn't mean that I agree with their philosophy 100%, okay? But I'll be recommending because I have a knowingness or I've personally worked with them. So to understand more about self-love, I highly recommend the book You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. You read it throughout the book, and then you do exercise by exercise. Very powerful to understand self-love. Okay, coming back here. In the warmth of our own hearts, we can find the strength to face storms. Mark the word strength as in capitalization. The storms is not capitalized because when we find this inner strength, we will find it is so huge, so big that outer storms, disturbances will not be able to affect us. As said before, that being on a spiritual path doesn't mean that our life will be easy all the time. We'll be always hunky-dory, it's always good, always nice, happily ever after. But guess what? It doesn't happen that way. So in the warmth of our own hearts, we can find the strength to face storms. So it means by embodying self-love, we will be able to, really love others. At the same time, um, use the strength gained from self-care and self-love to go through life. Okay? We can find the strength to face storms. It could be a breakup, it could be a loss of a loved one, a loss of a job, or anything. Self-love can really work miracles. I don't care what issue you're having, but when you develop more self-love, things transform. And we can always take a higher spiral. There's no stopping in self-love. It's not like, oh, now you complete that 100% self-love quotient in your psychology. It's always an ongoing process. We can find the strength to face storms. Life has to remain, quote unquote, interesting and keep making waves, again, in quotations. And trusting in the waves are marked in quotation. I remember, um, starting this work as a professional. I still not consider myself a full-time professional because I consider more of myself as a researcher. I like to study more and work less. So I remember when I decided to say, okay, this is how I'm going to make money and do the counseling work, do the reading work, and so on. Um, Suddenly I found within a year or so, everything in my life just settled down, like money was flowing, I was settled down, there was no going for a job, no struggling or something like that, which most of my friends were doing, and some of them are still doing it. And after that period of 1 year, I was like, what? Okay, so this thing is amazing. I can really make money with what I love to do, and people are responding, people are having transformation. And suddenly what happened is I kind of started to feel bored. I felt, oh, there's nothing to work anymore. And that was a point where I created an accident, a mini accident, and it was a good 15 to 17 days of rest. And when I dug deeper into my consciousness with energy healing work, I realized I simply created it so that life remains interesting. Because for me, life remains interesting when I have some healing to do on myself. This pattern is still very, very strong within me. Because that is how I started, you know, starting as a sick person, getting healing. So that was interesting. That was like the high. But what when you get the healing? Then what? A similar accident I created, but that was for many, many reasons. It was not exactly for that I became bored. But I have to be really, really vigilant as to if I start feeling bored, because I might create unconsciously something that is kind of a contrast that will require healing and that remains interesting. So life has to remain interesting and keep making waves. If you see that electrocardiogram, it's making waves. If it's plain, if it's not alive. A lot of people think that when they go through spirituality or psychology work, they're always supposed to be happy or they will look happy. I know personally some people who always have a big grin on their face. These are people of very nice organizations. I really respect them. But you know what? Just like in any relationship, if you don't have fight, it's not natural. You know, in the same way, if you're not experiencing pain, sorrow, and suffering, grief, you're not allowing those human emotions to be felt. I'm not saying that you have to identify with it, attached to it, but I'm talking about feeling it as a problem. I started my spiritual journey in some similar kind of philosophy, thinking that if I'm spiritual, I'm not supposed to feel any kind of contrast. But later on, I realized, oh, it's not working that way. I work with others, and others say the same thing. So I'm not saying that the other philosophy is wrong, but as per my experience, it is waves. It is interesting. It is a polarity. So when I stop trying to resist the polarity, suddenly I find what? Oh, I've moved beyond polarity. So whether it's good or bad, it's happening in my life. Doesn't matter. I can still feel the bliss of the soul. Someone's dying, I'm having an accident or whatever. I can still be in the bliss of the soul. Let us allow our hearts to open to the warmth of love. Mark the word A, capital A, allow. You might have seen that picture, it has always touched me. Jesus knocking the door. He's really outside that Christ consciousness and he's knocking at your door. So it means allow. A lot of us are so strongly programmed with the belief that life is a struggle, life is a pain, must be some kind of karmic sin that I'm in this human mortal physical body, da 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 da. That we forget that, hey, life is also about enjoyment. It's really about ananda. It's really about that bliss and joy. So once we deprogram that and reprogram our consciousness as system with the new belief systems that it's about me, it's about life, it's about bliss. Again, I'm not saying that you will not experience pain or suffering. It will be there, but you will have a sense of inner foundation, a strong inner foundation. You'll be going to the vast trenches of your dark self, of extremist depression that you might ever feel. And if you carry in this acceptance of the contrast and not identifying with it, traveling with the contrast, what the shamans call it, you will be really amazed as to the treasure that you will be getting. Strength, mental fortitude, creativity, genius, and so much more. Let us allow our hearts, again mark the capitalization of the H. It is hearts, not just heart. So we have a heart, this physical heart, and we also have a heart chakra. They call it, you have a big heart, you have a generous heart. But if you say big heart in the medical terms, it's a disease, right? And again, there's a heart of the soul as well. With people you meet with for the first time, you hear their voice or you just meet them and suddenly you're like, oh, it feels I've known you. Some say it's like they're like your past life friends or something like that. So the capital H heart I'm talking about is a divine heart, which is just pure unconditional love, starting with the self, just accepting yourself. The mind or the ego or other people's belief system or programming that you might have imprinted from others, it might come to you and say, oh, so let's say you're spiritual and you drink alcohol. You're spiritual and you slept with so many people, or you're spiritual or and you had a non-vegetarian food. What happens even if you go on a vegetarian diet? You're a bad person. The ego always wants to tell you that you're a bad person, you're a bad person, you're a bad person, because that's how it keeps its game alive. But the moment you come from the soul perspective, from the angelic perspective, from the perspective of the divine beings, of the great masters of light, it's pure acceptance. Nothing but acceptance. Mother's love is something which is very, very near to this phenomena. It doesn't matter the child has committed a crime or a murder, the mother still has a place for the child. The father may not have it, but the mother always have. Another phenomena that is experienced here is in the heart of a spiritual teacher. If you're lucky enough to meet a spiritual teacher, you will find that they may act cold at times consciously, but they have this all accepting, unconditional heart, always open to you. And if you are lucky, then maybe You can find a life partner like that. All the best with that. So, and if you cannot find, at least be one maybe. But doesn't mean that you have to allow the so-called abuse, which people allow by having good heart. No, it's a very different phenomenon. It cannot be taught. It has to be experienced. Let us allow our hearts to open to the warmth of love. Again, it's talking about self-love that seeks nothing in return. It seeks nothing in return. So when you're able to love yourself unconditionally, you would find that the ability to love others unconditionally comes spontaneously to you as well. And suddenly you will find you have more understanding, more forgiveness, more compassion for your family, for even your so-called enemies or people who behaved with you in a wrong manner in the past or in the present or in the future. You suddenly will have a bigger heart, you know. You might be seeing a news where terrorists are, detonating bombs and killing people. But suddenly you will find, oh, I have no judgment against this terrorist because I feel there's God inside the terrorist who is acting as terrorist. I do feel the pain and I do think it's wrong, but I do not feel the judgment. It's not that you become stupid, an emotional fool. It is something that you just cannot judge. That's what we're talking about. It's pure acceptance that seeks nothing in return. Again, it's a capital R. A lot of people, when when people are behaving nicely with you, it's like they say that they want to get some work done to you. They want to get something out of you, either professionally, personally, financially, or sexually, right? But there are people in your family or in your friends, or if you have no one, then at least any spiritual figure that you work with. They seek nothing in return, the capital R. They don't see the relationship as any kind of investment, so to speak, which has its own place, nothing wrong, but it just is. A lot of people, I was inspired by the Spirit last night to talk about in today's call, when people become against God, um, they are working with a master or a guru, a teacher, or, any loving energy force that they like to work with. And if the demands are not met, let's say they don't find a job, they don't find a partner, they don't hold on to the relationship, they go against them. They go against God. They say, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. But personally, in my experience, I found that regardless of how someone is really against God, the more loudly they're saying, I do not believe in God, it is an act of calling. It is an act of, I really need proof of God. That proof of God is flowing through your veins, that heart. And if you see the water pump, it expires after a certain while, but your heart, it keeps beating. Your eyes, your brain, the most complicated, advanced computer that it is. And of course, this frequency of love. If you really need to personally, uh, I should say that if you really want to know the proof of God, get to know a relationship, not just a romantic relationship, but any relationship. Get to know a relationship which is filled with unconditional love. Expressing unconditional love uh, is another miracle. It reminds me of a song. Let me find the lyrics first. Hmm. It's by Shaina Knoll. Yeah, this is a very lovely song, a wonderful song to meditate, to hum along. Okay, something like this. You may want to hum along. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. So it talks about that your loving is a miracle. Even with all this experience you've gone through, you're able to love. It's a miracle. By the way, I landed up in a website that seems like the original maker of this particular song. It says words and music by Libby Roderick. Libby Roderick Music, 1988. Okay. Let us allow our hearts to open to the warmth of love that seeks nothing in return, loving yourself for no reason at all. As I said, loving yourself brings miracles, but don't think it can happen in a split second. It can, but it takes a long, long, long dissolving, constant dissolving of the old patternings that seeks nothing in return, but that grants us the ability, capital A, ability to become a wish fulfiller. See, those who have attuned their hearts to the frequency of love, they somehow develop the powers. We have heard a lot of stories about great saints and yogis, who just grant you the wish. The blessing is like a real game changer, so to speak, because they are attuned to the field of love and they're able to fulfill wish, literally, especially the material wishes, if you would say. I've also been taught by my mentors that even when we are blessed by the great beings, um, still our karmic bank account, good karma bank account, plays a vital role. Let's say two people go to a yogi to receive blessings for, let's say, business growth. The yogi blesses both of them, but one receives the results, one does not receive the result. In fact, the other one receives opposite. Something wrong with the yogi? No, it's just that the karmic fruit, the karmic timing was not appropriate, and it hadn't come basically. The yogi's blessing simply comes like a formality in the matrix of life. It's not actually the yogi doing the task. The sacred heart filled with love, capital L love, sacred heart. It's not emotional heart, it's not becoming an emotional fool. It's actually about becoming really, really smart and strong and understanding yourself and others. So filled with the presence of all that is. When this heart is seen, known, we experience all that is, or God energy, or what I like to call it. We just experience all that is in a beingness. The further passage goes on. Let us empty our cups of the old wine. The capital C cup, it's cups written here. Cups here means our belief systems, our minds, whatever we think about the world, whatever we have been thinking about the world, about society, all the old programmings, or what they call as the old sanskaras. Let us empty our cups. It also means our different bodies, the subtle bodies, etheric bodies, astral body, emotional body, mental body, releasing them of all the old dross, which we thought that might be helping us, but actually we realize we're just going into a struggle and more higher struggle mode. It says of the old wine, capital O, capital W. A lot of great teachers like Rumi, they have mentioned great teachings in parables, in kind of codings, right? So in a similar manner, the wine that we're talking about here It is the old belief systems, old programmings, old sanskaras. Now you will notice that it's in W, a capitalized format, not a small format. Why? Because we are still respecting, the moment you think that, oh, something was wrong with my past, that's where you're going to get stuck. But the moment you accept that this was perhaps needed for my soul to grow, these old belief systems, these old programmings, the old everything maybe that ever happened to you in a so-called bad tone, then this old wine, we are able to empty it, you know. It somehow becomes totally liquid and goes to the source with our capital S surrender. The more we say, oh, it's bad, I need to get rid of it, I need to get rid of it, the more stronger it becomes. It's a trick. Through acceptance comes change. Let us empty our cups of the old wine and replace it with a new wine. Of course, a new wine means new fresh energy, a new prana energy, new higher nobilized feelings, higher thought forms, higher thoughts, um, a divine inspiration for ourselves, for the society, and more. A new way of living, basically. Shifting, upgrading. A taste of self, capital S self. I don't think I need to go there. Helps us to realize, the capital R realize, like wake up. It helps us to wake up. Helps us to realize that it is the only one goal of a very purpose. This taste of self, it helps us realize that actually we are here to just taste ourselves, to know ourselves. That's it. We might be here doing healing work or painting work or in the bureaucrat world and corporate world, wherever we are called to. But actually, once we realize this taste of the self, we realize, oh, it is only purpose. And from that point on, we try to maintain more and more connection, like keeping in touch with an intimate lover for a long, long time, or a very nice friend, and literally hooking into it. But this hooking in is a healthy one. You're connecting more and more with the divine spark. Your soul is connecting more and more. And according to that inspiration, you lead your life. Of sailing through life, let us celebrate this journey of knowing ourselves. Let us celebrate this adventure. Of course, it is adventurous, filled with polarities, filled with experiences, filled with adventures, filled with people, filled with demons, inner enemies, inner weaknesses, and more. This journey on the earth right now, the planet Earth, not about dying, not about thinking to go in the Himalayas and find enlightenment someday, but really, really going here, being a master in the fish market, as they say, having both your feet on the ground. We have done that, one foot on the ground, one foot in the heaven. It worked before, but what we are called in the frequencies that we are living right now is both feet on the ground, street smart, divine smart, not just smartphone smart. And then, hallelujah. It's an expression of celebration. It's an expression of praise the Lord. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate life. Oh, this is it. This experiencing of the polarity and not trying to run away from it. Hallelujah. Everything that ever happened to me in a bad manner was somehow preparing me to become the person I'm meant to be. Is that it? That includes all the roughest of the experiences of my life and the people. And suddenly what I found, my heart expanding, and suddenly what happens? I find that I feel more understanding, I have more forgiveness, I have compassion for myself and the world. Hallelujah. Let us go into the transmission. Closing our eyes. Let us chant the compassion mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. As you continue to feel that beautiful lotus surrounding you, just loving you, accepting just the way you are, not trying to change you, not trying to change your behavior, your thought patterns, nothing. It's just Love, 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 and love. It doesn't want anything in return. One purpose it might have is that you get to know yourself through this frequency of love. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Please chant along. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Celebrating this journey of knowing ourselves, the self knowing its own self. The goal walking on the path, and the path is the goal. And the person traveling on the path is the goal itself, is the path itself. Oh, such sacred alignment, such sacred enlightenment. The moment of power is in the now. The kingdom of God is at hand. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. We request divine intervention from Buddha Kuan Yin and Blessed Mary to anchor the sacred frequencies into our hearts and help us to understand more about compassion, forgiveness, and love. Help us to expand our hearts, for we know if we cannot expand our hearts, we cannot realize the full glory of the heavens of God, of who we are in essence. The more we expand our hearts, the more we know life. It's not about getting hurted by others. Of course, when we have a bigger heart chakra, you become more mature, more thoughtful. But don't expect the same with others. You'll be asked to practice more of patience, more of tolerance, more of healthy, inspired speaking out, and even silence at times. You are an elder soul, and the elders, of course, always are expected to practice maturity. Noticing the beautiful intertwined network of the deep, deep pink, aqua pink, magenta pink, and the beautiful lavender intertwining together, anchoring in your heart, visualizing the same matrix of light being intertwined and anchored in your physical body, your astral body, your mental body, around the very causal body as well. See and feel the intertwining of the sacred frequencies that you have called upon for yourself. Allowing every particle, every single cell to bathe in the aqua magenta and the beautiful energies of the lavender with shades of blue, marine blue. Feeling this aquatic energy flowing into your throat, into your cells, your brain, whirling and swirling through the nervous system, all the organs, just accepting and loving all the organs, regardless of how diseased they are, how old they are, it doesn't matter. Into all the aspects of emotional body, into all the aspects of the mental body, helping the mental body to be untied and open to the higher mind, helping the astral body, the emotional body to open to the Buddhic body, which brings down the capital E, emotion of Source. God is unconditionally loving, yet impersonal, helping you to understand the divine heart, the Christed Vishnu frequencies. People wonder so much of happening around the world. Why Vishnu? You're not incarnating, you're not taking an avatar. It's time that you bring down the Kalki. It will come at its own time. But until that, let us find our own divine self. And that's why we're here in the journey, isn't it? A lot of teachers share that the great avatar that we're all waiting for, like the Imam Mahdi, the Kalki, the second coming of the Christ, is actually a collective consciousness, a mass enlightenment in the age of Aquarius that we are living in. Finding that essence of that Savior, capital S Savior, within yourself, within that mirror. It's always good to learn from outside, but remember, it's always you. It's always you. Om Mani Padme Hum. Becoming one, all of your body, all the particles, quarks, muons, and more, the finest levels, being infused with the sacred aquatic magenta and the lavender frequencies. On behalf of humanity, on behalf of this group, we are invoking a divine intervention for all of us to help us transcend, transmute karma in the most graceful possible way as we accelerate our journey of ascension and descension of the spirit into matter. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 The mantras, the more we chant them, the more they develop the momentum, the power. Especially this mantra, it opens your compassion field, attunes you with the frequency of Buddha Kuan Yin. Of course, activating that wish fulfiller aspect of you, not only for yourself but also for others. And there's more to this mantra, a lot more. Om Mani Padme Hum. A lot of you might experience tears. Whatever that comes up during the session, this or any other transmission, just let it flow. Because today we worked a lot with the self-love frequencies. It was like our inner self was always wanting to be accepted somehow, and today it found, oh, I can do this job on my own. Oh, what I was waiting for. I had the key. I had the key always. Om Mani Padme Hum. Visualizing the lotus that you're sitting on turning beautiful deep lavender. Frequencies beaming up to your body, into your spine, into your crown, into your soul star, and up into the sky, into your personalized, Christed extraterrestrial team. Listen, allow. Makona shistimostana sayashtala samokuni sani shamostara saya. Ashastala sayemishtana saginezi moshtana akonesi shitini so mokora sataka. Mashala sitana saya mushta atare siya mostana sakore si itika. Makeke astono si shistana saya mushtala buni astono sokwa. Humanity is prepared, we are prepared to receive new codes of knowledge, of technology, of great consciousness, the next step of our evolution, of the evolution of humanity, to whatever gifts that we have, requesting a help, a calling from these sacred beings of light, always willing to help. What you're listening right now is a chant of light, as taught to me by Isis. This was basically practiced in Atlantis and many more temples, and still in many aboriginal tribes, where to the power of the sound and frequencies alignment, we activate, open up doorways of light for healing and much, much more. Imagine if you could see these portals getting activated with these sounds. What if you could do it? Come with a childlike heart and allow in your mind's eye, allow yourself to see the light. If you could see the light, how it can be, how it is. Come with a childlike heart, with a make-believe for a while, and enjoy the sacred opening of these sacred energies. Oh. Oh, 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 oh. Let go. Merge with the voice of silence. Feeling the joy of the spirit of the silence pulsing through your cells, pulsing to the atoms of your beingness. Feeling the joy, the bliss of the spirit, unconditional. In the ancient Hindu tradition, God is known as a rasa, juice, absolute juice of divine bliss. It's not boring at all. Once you get hooked into it, you won't seek the other. You will always want this one again and again and again. With so much of joy flowing into your hearts and your cells, the sense of celebration of the universe reverberating and thanking you for bringing the uniqueness that you are. Let us chant the Hare Krishna mantra, a very powerful mantra to tap into the spirit of ecstasy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. You gotta sing along. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, 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 Hare. Perhaps your hand is already pointing upwards. Just feel the roots going deep into the earth, with juicy earth energy coming upwards and fusing into your physical body, that ecstasy. And also going from the spine to the crown to the source, the heart of source. And the juicy energy coming from the core of the source, the heavens, pouring down to your crown, your brain, your spine, your body, your legs, and into the heart of Ma. Feel the sacred marriage. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Krishna, Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. If with your eyes closed you still would like to jump, then go ahead and jump if you feel like. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. If you cannot jump, then just raise your hand while you're sitting and move your hand left and right. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Feeling the sacred alignment with the heavens and the earth and the juice of life bursting through you. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Sacred juice of light flowing to your tongue, perhaps as a sweet taste, as Amrita in your heart. You're meant to experience joy. You're meant to experience Brahmananda, this bliss of ecstasy. All these other things, sensual pleasures, they simply provide hardly like a drop in the ocean. But once you're hooked into this essence of bliss, of getting this divine high, nothing can compare it. Lord Shiva is always known to be drunk with this sacred essence, with sacred ecstasy. Oh, I am that I am. I am that I am. Some of you might be experiencing spontaneous Kundalini awakening or warmth in the spine or goosebumps. If that happens, that's okay. If that doesn't happen, that is okay as well. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. The shelter of the holy name, nothing but the holy name. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Sacred Nanda Brahma. As Shimanandamai would say, I know only name. Once you get to know one, you get to know all. I know that name is all that is. I know that name is all that is. Feeling deep love for all these great saints, great yogis and avatars who walked on the planet in all corners of the globe in their own way. Beloved Christ, Sai Baba, Sri Shimanandamai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Padmasambhav, and so many more. Perhaps your eyes are already pointing upwards. If not, that is okay. If it is, that is okay. Oh, it doesn't feel like coming back, isn't it? A deep, 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 deep breath. Return all of awareness into spine. Feel your consciousness like a cloud around the spine. Feel this consciousness expanding this into yourself, the soles of the feet and the hair and the head. All the parts of your body, 360-degree up and down. A full deep breath. That is the chanting of the bees. We can really sense in the grid. It's like I don't want to come back. I want to stay here. Let us chant the chanting of the bees, the humming which grounds us further. At the same time, visualizing thick roots of light coming through the root chakra, base at the spine and the soles of the feet, grounding you powerfully with the earth. It is important. Visualizing the sacred green energy of the Ma surrounding all of us and the grid. Integrating this sacred, sacred, sacred transmission, this joyous, juice-filled transmission with joy and grace completely, deeply, gracefully. Once you get to experience a soul joy, other things remain a formality. You may want to continue to chant the Hare Krishna mantra if you feel like. I so celebrate your amazing yes. It also seems that last night I also facilitated the Jesus transmission for the Oasis group. It was a free transmission done offline. Perhaps it came true today as well. I so celebrate your spirit of yes, and I feel highly honored to be part of your journey, blessed ones. Thank you, thank you, thank you. At your own pace, whenever you feel like coming back, you can open your eyes, or if you just feel like being in this field, I'm going to chant the Hare Krishna mantra and some more bhajans later on after the recording is finished. So thank you so much everyone for joining in. This is Narmada Akshat, your facilitator for the Grace Journey, and I hope to see you all tomorrow if possible. And do take good care of yourself with the high frequency that you're beaming through, you're bringing into the world. People might feel that it's blasphemous. They might feel that, oh, life is not supposed to be like it. But you know in your very heart, your inner teacher knows very well. Your inner guru knows very well. After all, right? Namaste. The recording ends now.